Hey, what's up guys? So I wanted to make a video. It's been actually a little bit since I made a video. I'm in the home stretch finally of working on a few months long project now of pretty much recreating every single medical kit from the enlisted personnel to the non-commissioned officers up to the officers as part of a display that I'm going to be doing this coming weekend. So I started this project back in August, slowly putting the pieces together, slowly, figuring out what materials I need to get some of the small details correct, because I wanted to do it as fully and as accurately as I could reproduce. So in another video, I'm going to kind of lay out everything. I'm going to show you guys everything that I've done handmade wise, how the kit is laid out, what all the contents are, and all that stuff. And a lot of the box products and stuff like that, they're pretty easy and self-explanatory how to make. But probably the most labor-intensive part has been these bandages. Every part of the medical kit has at least some form of these compressed 3-inch by 6-yard bandages. The enlisted men's kit specifically has 16 of them, and then the NCOs and the officers have 8 each. They come in 2 different varieties that have been scanned and have been put out available as PDF downloads so that you can make your own. And I wanted to show you guys how I've been making mine. Since I've been making a lot of them, I figured I've gotten pretty good at it, and I want to share with you guys how you can do it. There's plenty of different methods, different ways. I've seen guys use wood blocks they've cut down to dimensions. There's a ton of different ways. I just want to share with you what has worked really good for me and how I've been doing it. So the most common original dimensions that I've been able to come up with and other people have referred me with is 3 inches wide by 1.5 inches tall and roughly about a 1/2 inch thick. So that's going to be kind of the consistent dimensions of these. They're relatively small. They really are. And you got to think, when these were made, the bandage, the gauze was compressed and pressed to shape and then was wrapped and packaged. So it's a lot in a very small package, and it was made like that for, obviously, you can carry a lot more with you if the actual package itself is small. So that's why, again, like in the enlisted man's kit, or 16 of these, that's a lot of gauze wrap. The 2 versions I have are the Kendall Company from Bower and Black, which is a real simplified wrapping, I guess you could say. The originals, they're almost like on a butcher's type paper. I printed these actually out on just normal everyday printing paper, just to get that feel and texture. The butcher's paper is a little bit thinner, but I wasn't able to get a hold of any of that. But for looks, and actually the printer paper actually folded relatively nicely without any problems. The next version I have is the more common, well, what I think is the more common Johnson & Johnson packaging. Looks like that. So you have plain gauze bandage across the top, compressed. Everything's backwards because I'm in my forward camera. Anyways, and then the Johnson & Johnson seal on the bottom there. These I did on tracing paper. Really light, really thin. Gives it that almost kind of wax paper feel when it's all wrapped and packaged up. So I tried to replicate that as best possible, and it's really easy to fold, and looks really nice when it's finished. And that's what these are done. So when you pick them up and feel them and touch them, they do have that kind of crinkly aesthetic to them. You know what I mean? So they do actually kind of feel more like a bandage, and it's not just something that's wrapped in normal paper. But so I'm going to go through and show you kind of what I've been working on, and you can see how I make one of these from start to finish. For the body, I've been using this type of, it's a styrofoam, but it's the craft store type that you use for flower pots, so that it comes in blocks and you get them in different sizes. I got these in a 3.5 inch by 3.5 by 2.5 dimension block. I was able to get 10 cutouts per block, and I needed to make a lot of them, like 32. So it worked out just right. But I've been using this stuff. It's really easy to cut, but it is extremely and very finely dirty. It's very messy, but it cuts really nice. And you can use regular styrofoam, the regular white styrofoam. You can really use anything. I did try to kind of do it just off the bat with newspaper wadding and just making a real feeling bandage wrap, but it just took too much supplies of the toilet paper, and it didn't fold good, and it was difficult, and it took just way too much time. What I do is I'll take this block, and I have some toilet paper here. I'll roll out just about 3 feet of toilet paper. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then I will fold it on top of itself, like that. Then what I do is I'll take this foam block and wrap it in the newspaper, and then not the newspaper, in the toilet paper, as such. Now, if you use white styrofoam, you'd be able to skip this step. The real reason why I'm using the toilet paper is, one, with the translucency of the tracing paper, your bandages would be green. Also, so it gives it that white backing, and also it gives it a little bit of cushion. It's not so just firm like if it was just wrapped styrofoam. So it does give it some type of cushion. And then I rip off. I've been using regular heavy duty like packaging tape. It's really easy to work with. I'll rip off 3 pieces. I'll do one, just kind of keep everything together, and then I'll fold the ends in. One on the end here, and then do the same thing on the other end. And that's just real general, real rough, just to kind of keep everything together. Now, the next step is to get this thing kind of centered up the best as possible. What I do is I'll just lay that on top. I'll fold the top piece over first. Actually, I missed a step. I'll get my 4 pieces of tape ready for this part. This requires a lot of tape. But if you want them nice and tight and they'll stay together, you just kind of need to do a lot of tape work. So I'll roll the top part over first, and I'll kind of look down, and through the tracing paper you can see the white showing already. And I just try to center the logo, all the writing and everything with the white, just kind of make it as centered possible. Not all of them are perfect. They won't be perfect. These things were mass produced in a very large scale, so there's going to be discrepancies and stuff like that. But I'll just get a general idea as to how centered I am. I'll fold that top part back. I'll bring up the lip of the bottom here, get it pressed against the inside of the bandage. I'll throw my first piece of tape on, keeping everything nice and tight. I'll bring the top back over like that and bring down the side, kind of keeping everything nice and tight. Crease that over itself. Another piece of tape. And there we go. So from here, it's honestly like packaging a very small, Christmas present. You fold the sides or the ends in just like you would if you were wrapping a box for Christmas. So we just tuck this end in, tuck that end in. And again, it's not going to be perfect, but the nice thing is about the tracing paper is that it's really easy to work with. It folds fairly well, as long as you don't have a lot of it stacked up on itself. And it gives a good finished look for the most part. Piece of tape on the end there. It's okay if the bottom's ugly, because I mean, these are really, the look is really from the top and the sides, and you know, the front. No one's really ever going to see the back. Do the same thing to the other side here. And last piece of tape. And then there you have it. So generally, for the dimensions, when you use this PDF, if you go on Facebook to the Paperworks, World War II Paperwork Facebook page, they have an actual Google Drive that all this stuff is available on. And I've done all my work from that Google Drive, because everything I've needed was luckily on that Google Drive. You want to make sure that you print these out at 100%, not scale to fit or anything like that. You want to print them out at their full scale. And when you wrap them, in general, the Johnson & Johnson should end up somewhere down here along the edging. Either it will be like right on the edge, like that, or kind of just going over that edge right there. Plain gauze bandage, that writing should kind of be really close to the top, and then the back part of the logo kind of coming on the other side there. Then you know you got it pretty close. I don't know where this is my first example. Kind of blew that out of the water. Really messed up. First try though, you know what I mean? Just kind of experimenting on how I wanted to do these. But yeah, so that is the way I've been making these. Again, you can, if you're good with wood, or if you have the abilities to with wood, you know, you can cut wood out, and it's going to end up being heavier if you're making a bunch of these. The foam proves to be lightweight, easy to work with, and if I make a mistake, this stuff is like, because of the way it's made, if you use sandpaper, you can fix, you know, if you have high spots or anything like that. If you want like a really true squared piece to work with, it's really easy to work with. But again, it's just really messy. But yeah, so that's how I or you can make your gauze compressed bandages. There's gonna be a video later on the rest of everything that I've done, but I got about 8 more of these to do, and then I'll post a video of everything laid out and together. So thanks.